6.4 is reflection of points, so keeping in mind what we just did on the last lesson, which was on a graph. Now you're not having a graph, you have to know the rules. But I still want to provide the graphs just so you have a visual of what's happening. So if we're ever reflecting over the line y equals x, which that is y equals 1x plus 0, meaning it's the parent function where it goes through the origin and goes up 1, right 1. The most simplest linear function. The rule is to just switch x and y, but I want to show you why that happens. I went ahead and plotted the point 2, -3 here. We talked about how we would then go up 1, left 1, and that happens 2.5 times, and then I would have to do that 2 more, and it puts me here, which is at -3, 2. So you do not change any signs, you simply switch the x and the y. Is it, but it's remembering the rules, which is hard. All right, the second one, if I'm reflecting over the line y equals -x, now that's still y equals -1x plus 0, meaning goes through the origin, now it's going down 1, right 1. If I plot the point, and you're going to have to change it because my numbers are too big to fit on the graph, so just cross that out and put 4, 1. I plotted it right here. And then since this is negative slope, I'd have to go down and to the left, and it takes me 2.5 times. And that puts me here at -1, -4. So when I reflect over the line y equals -x, I have to switch them and make them the opposite sign. So switch and negate x and y. Okay, next one. Let's change the point into -2, 5 so it fits. So I'm going to plot that here. Reflecting over the origin, think of the origin here, it's got to reflect or be equidistant from it. So what I want you to think about is how do I get this point to the origin using a translation? I would go down 5 and then right 2. Do that pattern again, go down 5, right 2 would put me here at 2, -5. Oop. So there is a rule here. You would keep them in the same order and then negate them. So you could make yourself a note here that you just negate. But I feel like we get so many rules it gets confusing. So what I'd rather think about is -2, 5. To get it to 0, 0, I would have to add 2 and subtract 5 to make this be 0, 0. So then I would do it again and then add 2, subtract 5, so that would get 2, -5. So you can think about it as a translation, or you can think the rule tells you just to keep them in the same order but negate. And then the last one, oh, they fit, good. So we're reflecting over a different point. So A is at -2, -5, and then B is at -4, -2. So what they want us to do is take A and reflect it over B so that it's an equidistance. So the only way to do this without a graph is to do the math. So yeah, you could do it on a graph. You could say, okay, I'm going to go up 3 and then back 2 and go up 3 and back 2. But again, you're not going to have a graph, but we should get -6, 1. But if I have my -2, -5, and I think, how do I make it into -4, -2? -2 plus or minus what gets us to -4? That'd be -2 more. And then -5 plus 3 would get us -2. So if I do that again, I end up with -6, 1. So I think about adding or subtracting a pattern twice to get it to be the correct reflection.